Welcome to the Bringing Intimacy Back show, where intimacy is real. If you desire to intimately connect with yourself, significant other, children, family, friends, community, and higher power, then this is the show for you. We explore intimate topics, inspiring life stories, spirituality, and insightful tips on strengthening relationships. The show is hosted by Dr. April and her co-host, Coach K. Let's get this episode of the Bringing Intimacy Back show started. We share with you today the secret power to intimacy to create the life you love or love the life you create. Now here's your host, Dr. April, and her co-host, Coach K.
Welcome to the Bringing Intimacy Back show, where intimacy is real. How are you doing this week, Coach K?
I'm doing great. And how about yourself?
I am doing wonderful, and I'm so excited about this topic because it combines like two of my most favorite things.
Yes. Food, intimacy, aka sex. I mean,
Yes. And, when I just think about this whole food aspect of meals are so intimate when you share a meal with someone.
It absolutely is. And watching somebody eat, honestly, it can teach you a little bit about some people's performances too. That's something that many people don't think about.
Oh my gosh, you're going to have to teach me on that. Yes, because I'm even breathless. I have nothing. Yes. Oh, the performance and watching someone eat. Okay. All right. So that's something, guys, we got to listen up to. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So with food and intimacy, even in the sense of how someone eats, but also just sharing that food, that aroma, all of that, it even can become, even when I was thinking of intimacy, and that's a thing, it also hit me how spiritually that is too.
Yes, absolutely. Food is the fuel for the soul, sort of say. And when you are sharing an intimate meal with your partner, because your mouth is full, you have to rely on your other senses to connect. And so that's huge. So while you're getting these different tastes in your palate, you're also getting to view your partner, how they chew, what they're eating, if things are on their face. It's just a sexy experience.
Yes. Yeah. And then also I was just thinking, it's also tied to that emotion.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so then you can even enjoy that when you're eating, that emotion of connection, sexiness, and all that. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's get so involved until we open up the show completely. But if you're liking and following us, definitely continue to follow us and listen out for a little bit more because we're going to dig deep. But before we do that, we're going to talk about the charity of the month. Better Tomorrow. We've been talking about it for the past all of August. Great charity. It's a charity to help people overcome
And have those better tomorrows.
Yes. So if you're out there and you're seeking adversity and you're like, oh my gosh, you need some help from myself or from my next generation, check out www.bettertomorrow.org, which is definitely a wonderful thing. So let's now really get into this topic of food and intimacy. And I'm curious because what you said is like how you watch someone eat can determine how they perform.
Yeah. So if you really think about it, and I also say with brushing teeth, but that's another day for another discussion. But watching somebody eat, you can really, and especially when it comes to oral play, are they messy? Are they really clean? Do they take small bites? Do they open up wide? How they chew? It really gives you a little bit of sense of how someone will perform in the bedroom. And I know that just seems like it's just such a disconnect, but I challenge everyone that's out there listening to us, and even the ones that's going to catch a replay, really sit back and study your partner and watch them during a meal. Just kind of watch them and see if you can relate. You know, my partner's pretty messy in the bedroom. It makes sense that every time they eat, they have food all over their face. They're dropping stuff on their, shirt, or, they have a juicy mouth, or, they're really rigid, really, really rigid. And that also helps you to educate your partner on how to please you. So
Mm,
all of that kind of ties in together.
hmm Yeah. And I was just thinking, and this is self disclosure, but when I eat, if I really, really do enjoy something, I will make a noise. If I'm not conscious, it's a business meeting or whatever. If I really do, you will hear noise out of me. And that's probably, yeah. Yeah. So I make noises in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When I really enjoy stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, I will go into, yeah. Yeah. So you are right about that. Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah. It
um,
all just coincides.
right, because when you eat, and we're going to later on talk about different foods, but with a lot of foods, a lot of times there are desserts, different sweet things that are like, how can I put it? It's for pleasure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No one thinks of broccoli because broccoli is like for this health thing. But when you think about chocolate, or you think about something spicy, or yeah, or even oysters, which I love, they're like for pleasure. And they
Hmm.
instill in you this kind
Yeah.
of like, let's fun,
And
let's enjoy ourselves.
yeah, I'm thinking about watermelon. That's one of the foods that's kind of listed that increases sex drive. But think about the juiciness and the refreshingness of eating a watermelon. And like you said, when you're really enjoying something, you kind of, you really get into it. And a nice cold piece of watermelon, with the as it just bursts in your mouth, it's like, you really open yourself up. And a lot of those foods, increase the blood flow. So it's just, food is amazing. I love food. If no one can tell, I love food.
Same, yeah, same to I, yes. And with watermelon, when you like bite into it, and those juices just go flow down, yeah. And intimacy, for a lot of people, has a lot of good juices, where you just, yeah, you don't
Hmm.
care about what you look like or whatever. It is just letting those juices fall. Yes. Another food
Absolutely.
that people think about is spiciness, like when
Yeah.
something's hot. Yeah.
It raises your temperature, which, when you're in an intimate moment and you're really charged, your temperature rises. So eating that spicy food, it kind of gets you to that place a little bit faster.
Yes. Because I think with the spiciness of food, or spicy food, it also pushes you, it just gives you that jolt. Like, oh my gosh, this is like so spicy. You're like, oh, yes.
Yeah, and it brings out your adventurous side. Again, just paying attention to what people like and what they don't like. If you have a partner that's like totally against spicy food, they may not be as adventurous as someone who say, "Hey, maybe I'll try a
Hmm.
spicy food." Again, what you eat really translate to a little bit of your personality and how you are, just kind of across the board.
Right, right. And now, as you were saying, spiciness produces heat. And I was just thinking, because some people also bring food into their sexual play on
Yep.
their bodies and stuff. And spiciness produces that heat that even some of the other um, gels and stuff that people use, that, you know, intensifies the heat
Yeah.
feeling.
They definitely started making the different lubrications and all that the warming lubrications, so to get you there. So why not do it naturally with the spicy food or adding bring it in the bedroom? The class that I have, the pleasure mapping class, there will be food as a part of that class. And absolutely, spice is going to be a part of it.
Yeah, so you actually do a class that helps couples connect, of course, and you have
Yeah.
food aspect.
Yep. This one is, excuse me, the Mindfuck is a series, PHUCKED at all. So I want you to get that part right.
Yes.
But the second series in that set is the, pleasure mapping, couples pleasure mapping. And it comes with, and the first thing I thought about was food, because, as a part of all of your senses. And when we think about spice, it really touches multiple senses at once. Because sometimes you can touch something that's spicy and you can feel the tingleness on your fingers or even on your skin somewhere. So you not only taste it, you can feel it.
Right.
But the essence of it also goes through your nose, and it opens the palate up. So then you can take in more of a scent of your partner.
Yeah, definitely. Good. Yeah. I was also thinking in the sense of, as you're talking about it, when couples start to cook together,
Yeah.
and when you play with, and I'm not even a cook, but when you play with dough, how that is so sensual, just putting your hands together, taking that, I'm not a cook, so taking the dough and, rubbing it together, making something up, creating.
Yeah, that's one of the things that me and my husband, for a while, we were doing the HelloFresh.
Right.
And that was like a thing. When we got our box, I think we did like 3 meals a week. But just the two of us in the kitchen together, everyone, each had our role. That creates a heightened bond, because it's like, we created this. We're going to eat this together. And then, of course, why not finish off dessert together, So
Yes, yeah. One of my favorite desserts, of course, is chocolate. Yes, yeah. And it's chocolate that is so sweet, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and where you can share a piece, put a piece in each other's mouth. It's just really that sweetness of intimacy. Yeah.
Now, for the listeners, is there a huge difference in milk chocolate versus dark chocolate when it comes to what fuels or increases the sex drive?
Hmm. I know I would vote for milk chocolate, but I wonder if others,
Milk
yeah.
chocolate.
Yes,
Milk
yes, yeah. But if
chocolate
you're
is definitely.
Yes, if you're out there and you're like thinking, yeah, let us know which one do you prefer, that milk chocolate or that dark chocolate? Yes.
So milk chocolate is fun, especially if you drizzle it and you can
Mhm.
lick it off. But the dark chocolate is what spikes the dopamine and prompts the feeling of pleasure. So more people, even though a lot of people don't like dark chocolate because
Right.
it's kind of bitter. But I like to put it in the either freezer or the refrigerator and then eat it.
Mm.
But there's something about dark chocolate that's been said to really, that's the one. I would go with milk chocolate because it's nice and sweet.
But as you're saying, when you take that dark chocolate and you put it in the refrigerator so it's cold, okay? And then when you and your partner are together and you bring it out and you put it in each other's mouth, it lets it, yeah, because of that coldness, that different texture.
Oh yeah, super
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah, and especially if the dark chocolate has something inside of it.
That
Yes, yeah.
easy.
That oozy, yes, yes. And that other food that I was thinking that is also oozy, that fuels intimacy, is oysters.
Yes, that's the thing. That's like the common sexy food out there. Not even just what it provides internally, but watching your partner eat a raw oyster is probably one of the sexiest things in the world. Um, and it also can tell you a lot about how they perform. Again.
Yes, and also I was just thinking with the oysters, you can also put they have the stuff to put the spiciness on it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And like you said, watching them, whether they just take a fork or whether they, um, just swallow it,
Yeah.
drip down.
Absolutely. I have not. I will say this, me and my husband, we're going to, but we have not eaten a raw oyster ever. I just started eating broiled and fried oysters within the last 2 years.
Oh wow! So you're missing out.
Yes, so I haven't gotten to the place of raw oyster just yet, and I definitely want to try it. Um, but we were the fried and the broiled, I'm there.
Right, right. So some people say I not can't do oysters because how it looks. You know what I'm saying? The little slimy. But when you actually put some stuff on it and then put it in your mouth, and you just you feel like there's like something in the center that is so delicious, and you feel the slime on the outside, and then you pop it open, it's like this burst of excitement, this burst of flavor, you know? It's kind of like I was just thinking another food that can be very is when you do one of those lollipops as a kid and you
Mhm.
lick until you get to that Tootsie Roll.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a good description of it for someone who's never, experienced it. There's a really good description of it. And it's a sexy description of it. Let's just be real. That's why I think a lot of people will always opt to go to an oyster bar. Hey, if you're on a first or second date and you kind of want to know a little something, go to an oyster bar.
Well, it's something if they take you there the first date.
Well, it depends on how you met. Was it
That's
a tap or
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. But it is definitely a way to communicate. Yeah. And also, when you're asking your partner, what does that taste like? What does that feel like? You can also understand if your partner can communicate
Yeah,
what they're experiencing, because I think that's also tells a lot.
absolutely. That part right there and that piece right there is a major part of the class with the pleasure mapping is
Mhm.
being able to articulate those experiences so that maybe you can recreate it, outside of food sometimes. Because what you feel, and just literally going back to what you were saying, that sometimes when you're eating something amazing, you just kind of get into it and it's like, so now are you being able to articulate that, when I was eating this is how I felt, this is, what it tastes like. And it just made me feel like, now your partner kind of has a challenge of, okay, I want to see if I can make you feel like that. And you also would want to feel like that outside of the kitchen. So maybe you guys are out at a park and you're walking around and your partner knows that maybe I hold your hand a certain way. Maybe I touch your back a certain way and I get that same reaction. So they're learning those triggers that get you into a pleasurable mode.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a great way because sometimes I don't know if you get it, but times couples are been married for many years and they feel like they're in a rut. It's the same old thing. And you're right there providing a technique or a solution on how they can spice things up.
Yeah, because you need that. After so many years of being adventurous, say that you were super adventurous the first 5 years, and you feel like, oh my gosh, there's nothing else for us to do. We're just stuck. Well, now it's time to start articulating and talking about those feelings outside of just the bedroom or the bath, whatever place you go. Let's start talking about other things. I noticed when you're eating, after you eat a salad, your energy level goes up and you're just ready for anything. Can you tell me what makes you feel like that? Because now I want to recreate that. That's a new challenge for someone who's been in a long-term relationship.
Definitely. Yeah. Another thing I was thinking of is when you're as a couple and it's just the two of you, another thing that you can work on is feeding each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Taking time instead of each of you, eating yourself, but feeding the other person. So you have to realize, well, how big is a person's mouth? How much do they like in their mouth? You know what I'm saying? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. What's the space between when they are chewing something and that in the conversation? It's also about the rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because every couple has a rhythm.
Yep. This studying your partner. I love that. Feeding yourself is beautiful. It's sensual. It's, hey, I want you to try this. And so you are the one that's giving it to them versus them just having to do it themselves. They're probably more likely to try a new thing if you're willing to handhold, sort of say, and feed it to them. So
Right.
why not? And like you said, watching them, is it somebody that's scarfing down food really quickly? So you can say, hey, slow down because I want you to really taste it and tell me what it tastes like to you. How did it feel when you ate this thing?
Right.
I like the feeding.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think that's just, something definitely you can use, to increase that intimacy in that aspect. Yeah. The other thing I was thinking of is also we talked a little bit is about bringing food in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Having your body be a place to hold some food where your partner eats food off of you.
That's definitely fun. With precaution, of
Yes.
course. We'll always push that, but just definitely be precautious, but have fun. Put some chocolate syrup in your navel. If you have an any and it's a little dip, put some chocolate in there and say, hey, how fast can you get all the chocolate out? Make it a game, make it fun.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And like the chocolate and the syrups are wonderful things to utilize. And yeah, wow, we've just kind of been giving them a lot of different advice on how to spice the intimacy up.
Absolutely. Now with the food in the bedroom, because there are a lot of videos and a lot of things that you can do with maybe cantaloupes, not cantaloupes, but grapefruit and all that good stuff that we've heard about. You always want to be careful of your internal orifices when it comes to food.
Yes.
And sugars, because yes, that can kind of throw your pH off. So I like to say, clean the plate before you play, if that makes sense.
Yes. And clean the plate afterwards.
And afterwards, yes.
Directly afterwards. But yes, yes. But yes. And everybody's inner parts are different and sensitive. And if yours is very sensitive, yeah, I wouldn't, try putting it there. But like you said, there's a variety of other places.
Absolutely. Just put it in your mouth and have your partner come get it out your mouth, Even something as simple as ice.
Oh, yeah.
We don't think about that, putting that in your mouth and you kind of rubbing it up and down your partner without even using your hands. A popsicle, it doesn't have to be heavy foods. It doesn't have to be fruits. It could be those subtle, fun pop rocks, something as simple as pop rocks. Put some pop rocks on your tongue, chew them up a little bit, and then go to your partner's ear and just let them pop in their ear.
Yes, that's a creative one. Yes, I hadn't thought about that. But yeah. And then what we're talking about is it's allowing all the senses to come
Yes,
alive. That's what's happening is your senses are coming alive. Yeah.
absolutely. And
Hmm.
and it's fun. And just thinking about, when I talk about the pop rocks, that's also nostalgia that takes you to a happy place
Oh
where you
yeah.
can be carefree. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm playing with candy and I'm playing with my candy. So it's like the best of both worlds as an adult. So those are fun, carefree things that you can do that doesn't cost you a whole lot of money. It's, even if it does not lead to actual intercourse, it's fun. It's foreplay. It's fun.
Right. It's intimacy. It's being truly present. It's
That's
using,
right.
yeah, yeah. And one other last thing I was just thinking of, it's really good when you're also blindfolded
Yes.
and you don't know what taste is coming up, yeah, or where it's going to go. It's like this excitement. And even when the taste comes to your mouth and you're like trying to figure it out, that is just, yeah, really exciting.
It is. I love the blindfold, which is definitely a part of that class too. You don't have to see everything coming. Use your other senses.
Hmm. Yes, yes. And just a caveat, if you do have trauma and you are blindfolded, it may cause more damage. So be careful with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
just to keep that in mind. But yeah, definitely blindfolding is one great way. Wow, this has been awesome.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, well, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to tell you what's upcoming on these upcoming shows.
Vacation Counseling wants to invite you to the Christian Couples Retreat in 2024 in beautiful Bradenton, Florida. Dr. April, intimacy and sex therapist and author of Improving Intimacy, and Dr. Jason from the hit TV series on TLC, 90 Day Fiancé, The Last Resort, will be helping us to love each other the way God intended us to love. Visit vacationcounseling.com or call 239-565-6921 and get registered today.
Welcome back to the Bringing Intimacy Show, where intimacy is real. That was a wonderful conversation about food and intimacy.
Absolutely. Guarantee that people weren't expecting us to have such a broad range of ideas.
Yes, good. Yes. So what's coming up?
Oh, we have some great shows coming up. So to wrap out our August, on August 31st, we have Overcoming Sexual Pain with Mary Grimberg. On September the 7th, we have a special segment with Patrice Brantley and Dr. April. On September the 14th, we have Nerves of Steel with Linda Steele. On September the 21st, we have Why Men Marry the Next Girl. And that's going to be with Dr. April and myself. And then rounding out September, on September 28th, we have Relationships, The Power of Presence with Tammy Gallagher.
Oh,
Great.
wow. Yes, yes. Looking forward to all those shows. And if you like what you heard today, please follow us on Twitter, which is, I believe, called X now. Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, Clubhouse. And like us there. And we will see you guys next week on the Bringing Intimacy Back show. And definitely, like, if you're listening to all this and you're like, I wonder, are my partner and I intimate? Are we? Well, you can go on to Bringing Intimacy Back and sign up for one of those intimacy quizzes, and you may get some surprises. Okay? Thank you guys so much. Have a great week.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Bringing Intimacy Back, where intimacy is real. You can also find us at bringingintimacyback.com, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Dr. April Brown's 7-book series, Improving Intimacy, is now on Amazon. We'll see you next Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Don't forget to follow, share,